welcome to ET Energy World. We're coming to you on day 4 of India Energy Week. Today is the finale day. My name is Devina and joining me now is G Ravisankar. He's the Director of Finance, POWERGRID Corporation of India. So welcome. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. So sir, today is the finale of India Energy Week 2025. How has your experience been so far?
Yeah, Power Grid, actually we are in the business of transmission of power from the generator to the load centers. And you see, traditionally the power was transmitted by the generators, but over the years, the last 3 decades, we were having a lot of changes in this sector where the unbundling is happening and the transmission emerged as a separate entity, and then the renewable now is adding to the mix of energies where more and more solar and wind energies are adding up to the energy mix. And then the again, when you say that when more and more solar or this wind energy is adding up to this mix, then it is not coming up at regular intervals. When you see this non-fossil fuels, it comes up with a challenge of intermittency. It is at a seasonal, it is unpredictable. So how you will ensure the energy security for 24/7, and how you will finance this huge development of transmission network? These are all the challenges coming up in the days to come, and how we are going to tackle this, how we are going to finance this huge transmission network which is going to be added in India. We have plans of 500 gigawatt by 2030, which will add up another 200 gigawatt in the solar and another 100 gigawatt by the wind energy. And wind energy, we are not going to restrict ourselves only to the onshore. We will be going to the offshore wind generation also. So these are all the challenges, and financing and the huge capital investment is going to happen in this sector.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for encapsulating that so well. Can you give us some insights into the strategy when it comes to financing? Of course, we're talking about the energy transition here in India. So some insight into the financing strategy as well.
Yeah, exactly. See, when you say that 2.4 trillion is to be invested, so how you will look out for the financing? Can this be from a single source, or can this be from a multiple sources? So obviously the answer is should be from the multiple sources.
Yes.
You have a fixed interest carrying bonds, you have a floating term loans, you have a ECBs, that is external commercial borrowings from the currencies other than INR. How you will mix in such a way so that you ultimately end up with the optimal financing.
Right. Yes.
So when you have a fixed bonds, so it will actually ensure your interest quantum for the tenure of the bonds. At the same time, when the interest rates are fluctuating, how you will gain the whatever the interest rates are coming down from that. So you will have a term loans which carry a floating rate. So whenever there is an advantage, you get advantage from that type of source of financing.
Yes.
And how you will tap the international market when you say the Japanese market, Tona, which is trading at hardly 0.5% as the interest carrying cost. Added to that, only you will have to have the exchange rate variations. So how you will tap the international market with the hedging, you are able to raise the funds competitive with the domestic markets. Yes. This is how the future your financing should be there in such a way that you have a mix of financing so that you get optimal financing cost, which will ultimately reduce the burden of the end consumers.
Absolutely. And to support this, what are some of the regulatory reforms that we can expect to see, or perhaps already in the pipeline, to support the entire initiative of the energy transition?
So the energy transition, if you see, the regulation supports, whether it is a regulatory transmission projects or it is through a bidding process, it is happening, and the the transmission charges, they are ensuring the fixed transmission charges for the next 35 years. So the transmission charges is also based on the availability, unlike it is not linked to any quantum of power flown. So naturally these regulatory reforms will add the confidence to the lender so that they give a competitive rates.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, sir, for all this insight. Before we wrap up, what is your vision for the future power grid moving forward?
The future power grid is bright because we are going to add more and more renewable energies. The buzzword today is the energy transition and followed by the electricity transition. When the electricity transition happens, the consumer electricity, whoever the consumers will consume more electricity, the per capita consumption is going to increase. There, the requirement of transmission is going to increase. The growth of power grid will happen ultimately. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for sharing all this insight and all the very best for your initiatives.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's all we have for you in this segment here at TT Energy World. But do stay tuned as we bring you all the updates from day 4 of India Energy Week 2025.